The Chicago Bulls are bad, guys. They dropped their 10th straight game last night, and fans are getting fed up. Fans are calling this shit unwatchable. They're asking, how long are we going to have to put up with this? And I'm warning you guys, this is the start of what's probably going to be a very long process. This is the beginning stages of a rebuild, a tear down, a tank, whatever you want to call it. We are in the early days of it, and very rarely do you see a team turn it around in one offseason. This isn't the NFL. In the NFL, teams can turn it around in one offseason. In basketball, it usually takes 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 years. I mean, you look at this Bulls roster right now, and the good news is most of them won't be back next year. There's a lot of expiring contracts. We know Josh Giddey's going to be back. We know Buzelis will be back. We know Noah Essengate will be back. Trey Jones is under contract. Isaac Okoro is under contract. Patrick Williams is under contract. I think Leonard Miller's under contract. It might be a team option, but other than that, man, I don't think we're going to see a lot of these guys back. It's going to be a pretty new team next year, and that brings a degree of hope to it in some instances, but this is the new NBA. Guys aren't, big name guys are not reaching free agency anymore. If you look at the impending free agents in the NBA, there's no real difference makers. There's nobody that the Bulls can use that cap space on that's going to turn them around. That's just the way the NBA is these days. Guys sign the contract extension first, demand a trade later. They're not reaching the open market anymore. So if you're looking at the cap space and you're using that to justify the hope that you might have that this might be a short turnaround and the Bulls might be relevant again in a year, I'm telling you, you're just blatantly wrong. Now, there's two ways that the Chicago Bulls can cut this turnaround short and be relevant again relatively soon. Path number one, getting lucky in the NBA draft, getting lucky in the lottery. If the Bulls get a top 3 pick, if they get Cam Boozer, if they get AJ, if they get Darren Peterson, they're probably going to be a playoff team next year. Those 3 guys are transformative talents. They have superstar potential. I could see those guys being added to this Bulls team, being added to Josh Giddey, being added to Modest Buzelis, and the Bulls potentially making some noise and being, a play-in or playoff team again next year. That's scenario number one. Now, if you fall outside of that top 3, if you land somewhere, 4 to 8, you could be better, but I just don't think Caleb Wilson, Nate Ament, Mikal Brown Jr., Koa Pete, any of those classic guys, I don't think they're quite that transformative talent that's going to propel you into instantly being better. Those guys are good, don't get me wrong. Adding any of those guys would be a win for the Chicago Bulls. This team needs a young core. They need good young players, but those guys don't have the star potential to turn the team around, in my opinion. So that's scenario number one to making this a short turnaround to being relevant again. Get lucky in the draft lottery, get a top 3 pick. If they do that, Bulls fans should be ecstatic. I mean, really, if the Bulls, with this draft, as long as you get a top 10 pick, you should be ecstatic. You're going to get a good player, but you're going to need to get in that top 3 to really make a difference. Scenario number 2, on how to cut this rebuild time almost in half would be landing a big player in a trade. So that's one thing that the Bulls do have, is they have cap space to take on a big contract. A Zion Williamson, who I think he just played, his 33rd straight game. So he's starting to alleviate some of those health concerns. Maybe that makes the Pelicans want to hold on to him a little bit longer. Maybe they're a little less hesitant to trade him. Did you guys see that dunk he had last night, by the way? He's looking like old Zion. That bounciness, that explosiveness, that athleticism, he's still got it. So Zion Williamson, he's a transformative talent. If you could bring him on in a trade, then I think you're a playoff team next year. Then I think you've cut your rebuild time. You've cut it in half. Or, Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's a name out there for sure too. John Morant's not one of those names in my opinion. Devin Booker is definitely one of those names, but I don't know why the Suns would trade him. I've just seen people speculating that maybe they don't want to pay that contract that they just gave to him. I think that's crazy, but one of those kind of names, a big superstar name, using your cap space to basically swing for the fences and take on a superstar, that would cut your rebuild time in half. But short of one of those 2 scenarios, Bulls fans, y'all got to strap in, man. It's going to be a long time until the Bulls see the sun again. This is the start of what is usually a very long process. The Pistons were bad for a couple of years. Magic were bad for a couple of years. Thunder were bad for a couple of years. Rockets were bad for a couple of years. All these teams that built their way through tanking, they had to go through, 2, 3, 4 seasons of not being good. Look at the Charlotte Hornets. They've been dog shit basically for 20 years now. They had some really good luck in recent drafts. Now they're starting to see the sun again. So I'm just saying, Bulls fans, if you're hoping this is a short turnaround, you might want to change your tune.